Hello, I'm Admiral Bumblebee, and if you're watching this, you may have purchased a leather strop from me on my Etsy store. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use it, but more importantly, why you use it. It is important to understand that the stropping process removes very little metal. So if your knife or cutting tool is in poor shape, then stropping is not going to help it. You need to go through the full sharpening process. So let's first discuss what sharp is. You probably think that sharp is just something pointy, and something that's not sharp is like if you drop your knife on the ground and it becomes flat on the end. Or maybe you use it for a long period of time and it develops a dull radius. But let's think about that radius for a minute. What if the radius was smaller? Or even smaller? Does it look like it's getting sharper? That's because it is. We can think of sharpness as the intersection of two faces having the smallest possible radius. The smaller the radius, the sharper the tool. So let's take this knife, where the intersection of the two faces is a fairly large radius. How do we make it sharper? The solution is to remove metal from the two faces and create a new edge. Let's think of another scenario where the edge of the cutting tool gets bent. Maybe to the left, maybe to the right. There's a phenomenon at play here called work hardening. When certain metals, like the metals used in cutting tools and knives, are bent repeatedly, they become harder and more brittle with each time they are bent. Eventually, the edge will break and leave a jagged but very dull edge. This is repaired the same way as fixing an edge with a large radius. We remove metal from both sides and create a new point. Now I will show you how to remove metal and create that new point using a leather strop and some honing compound. The leather strop really doesn't do anything by itself. We need to add some abrasive that will actually remove metal for us. If you purchased a strop from me, it comes with abrasive compound. Otherwise, if you check the description below, I have added some links to compounds that I trust. Not all honing compounds are created equal, so be careful with what you purchase. Next, apply the strop to the edge of a table, grab your knife, and lay the knife flat on the strop. Move the knife along the strop while slowly lifting the back until you can just barely feel the edge catching on the leather. It's pretty easy to tell when the edge is being affected by the strop, so just experiment with the angle until you can feel it. The tip of the knife is tricky, but important. Watch how I have to change my arm angle to get the tip in contact with the strop. If I simply change the angle relative to the main face of the knife, the tip doesn't get touched at all. This takes practice, but once again, if you pay attention to the feel, it becomes rougher feeling when the edge is touching the strop, and it feels smooth when the edge is not touching the strop. The goal is for the edge to be abraded, so we want the edge to touch the strop. Let's look at a strop that I've been using for years. You can see all these black marks, which is actually steel that's been removed. I have two sides that I use two different compounds on. Once again, the stropping process removes very little metal. This is a maintenance process. It will not fix the damaged blade. Thank you for watching. Check out my website at admiralbumblebee.com, my Patreon at patreon.com/admiralbumblebee, and I will link my Etsy shop in the description. I will see you later.